Back. The Forbes 30 Under 30 Summit is returning to Africa following the first Africa Summit last year. Elite young entrepreneurs and game changers will again convene in Botswana for 4 days. They will focus on harnessing the entrepreneurial spirit on the continent. And for more on this, we are now joined by Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 curator Retief, and from Nigeria, Oluwa-busayo Victoria Abiri, also known as Khloe, who's one of the listers this year, who's also the founder and CEO of Koko by Khloe. Hi, ladies. Thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight tonight. Chanel, I'm going to start with you. If by chance someone hasn't heard of the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 listing and the summit, just talk to us about what exactly this initiative is and why it's so important to have initiatives like this in Africa.
So I think when it comes to the list itself, it speaks to young entrepreneurs, young brand ambassadors, young people who are building brands and businesses. And it's looking at why these sorts of things are so important. And I don't think anybody realizes how difficult it is to be successful on this continent and then to be successful under the age of 30. So as Forbes Africa and actually as Forbes Global, when we celebrate under 30, it's always about looking at young people who are just, breaking glass ceilings, who are trailblazers and who are doing fantastic and amazing stuff. The summit in Botswana celebrates that, but it's not only for list makers, it's for entrepreneurs around the world to A, come see our beautiful continent, and B, just to network and talk to these young business leaders and brand ambassadors and see what initiatives they have going on. 99% of the time, they end up coming to these summits and discussing ways that they can collaborate as business partners. And you find the most weirdest but wonderful collaborations happening. Entertainment and finance could come together. Beauty and, tech could come together. Anything could happen in Botswana.
Chanel, talk to us about the sort of selection process. How is someone put on this list? Is it a nomination process that is involved? And also talk to us about some of the big names that are on the list this year, besides Khloe, of course, because we'll be chatting to her in a moment.
Of course. Thanks, Abigail. So the selection process is very, very long. It is... it's a process that starts in about a year out. So we started in 2022 and we call for nominations. So candidates can nominate themselves or they can be nominated. I can say in Khloe's case, there was multiple nominations that happened as well. So in that regard, that is when I sit as the curator and I skim through these applications and nominations that come through. Following that, following that process, we now enter into stage 2, which is the selection process, which now involves us looking at, okay, who could potentially be on the list. And with that, we now ask candidates to provide us with a lot of documents. And when I say a lot, it comes from police clearance certificates, background checks, and then also being vetted by our audit partner, which this year again was S&G Grant Thornton. And then from there, we go, and also the references that we have to contact, as well as the testimonials from our financial institutions, from their financial institutions. From there, we get to stage 3, which is then we take the potential candidates, because from stage 2, it's kind of minimized quite low. We take them to our external category experts, also known as our judges. This year we chose an elite set of judges like we do every year. But the difference this year, which was really fun, is we decided to pull from, not only pull experts who have experience in whatever the category was, but also pull from our pool of under 30 alumni, which was really fantastic to see how, because they know the process themselves. So it was interesting to see how they would go ahead and rate their potential future alumni. And then from there, which is stage 4, which is my favorite part, because we get to select, we have to put it through to the editor, Renuka Mithal, who then gives the final stamp of approval, and then we send it out and we get a beautiful list.
Oh my gosh, a lot goes into selecting these 30 individuals. Khloe, you are a force to be reckoned with in the industry. You do so many things. You wear so many hats under the Koko by Khloe umbrella. Just quickly give us a brief introduction of who you are and what it is that you do.
Hi, so my name is Oluwa-busayo Abiri. I'm the CEO of Koko by Khloe Beauty and as well CEO of Koko by Khloe Fashion. I also have a fashion academy for the less privileged in Nigeria as well. I started this business when I was quite young, but not officially. I started officially 2016 and it's been ups and down, but still I'm here and I am so grateful for the steps.
You also have an academy, and this is something that I find so interesting, where you empower young people to be able to create beautiful garments. Just talk us through the academy part of your business and why you think it's so important to have initiatives like that.
I started my journey from a very, very low area where they call it in Nigeria, they call it the trenches. I started from there, and nobody actually had been able to do anything for anybody while I was growing up. And I see every kids out there. If someone had introduced me to a fashion school when I was a bit younger, maybe I would have gone far in my life today. And that is the reason why I went back to where I grew up from. And I set up a fashion academy for the less privileged where they have to pay nothing. We have 5 staffs. We have the illustration teacher, we have the tailor, we have the social part and everything. It's really something that I have passion for.
Oh, I think we lost Khloe's connection there.
Oh,
Let's just go back to Chanel. Chanel, there is this summit happening in Botswana in a few days from now, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of this month. What sort of is going to be happening at the summit? Is it conversations that are being had? What happens? And also, how do people attend? Can anyone attend? Are there tickets that need to be bought? Just give us those details, please.
Of course, Abigail. So what anyone can expect from the summit is just bring yourself, bring your authentic self, and be prepared to network with some of the best in business, some of the best in entertainment, and some of the best in actually any industry. Now that I'm thinking of registries that are going, and the African listers that are going. And when it comes to there's going to be different sorts of panel discussions, but I think everybody is most excited for the Davido performance. So this is his first performance of 2023. So everybody is really looking forward to that. If anybody would like to register, they can make their way to www.forbesafrica.com and they'll get all the details there. And yeah, it's pretty much a simple process. I hope that people will right now, as they are looking at the screen, just make their way over to the website and register, because it's going to be a jam-packed but amazing experience. I'm speaking from experience of last year's summit. It's just, I think there's something so special about the African summit.
Just lastly, Chanel, back to the listers for this year, the 30 individuals who are part of the Forbes Africa 30 Under 30 initiative. I know there's names like Tim's on there as well. There's makeup artists, there's people in the beauty space, there's entrepreneurs, there's all of these amazing people. Just talk us through why it's so important to have initiatives like this that sort of highlight the good that Africans are doing, because there's a lot of sad news, there's a lot of doom and gloom. So we need this sort of inspirational and aspirational platforms. Wouldn't you agree?
120%. I think when you live on the African continent, and I'm sure in the news space already you experience this, Abigail, is that there's always just an influx of information that is given to you, and sometimes it can come at you at a very negative way. So I think when it comes to the list itself and why I enjoy doing it so much, it's like seeing all these African people make a big, big difference, even if it's just in, ways that nobody even thought about. And one of the things that makes the African list so special and so important is that we highlight meaning before money. And I think looking at businesses and looking at businesses that are creating impact on the continent and looking after, small communities that people sometimes do not think about. We all know that Africa is a continent marred with misconception and stereotypes, and sometimes real issues that need to be addressed. One of our cover stars, he's dealing with the energy crisis in Lesotho. And not a lot of people know that there is an energy crisis in Lesotho. We have another guy that is building a business on coffee. That's completely unique, because every single day we wake up in the morning, we drink coffee, and we're like, oh, wow. We don't think about those things. And then obviously as of recently, we're looking at people who are creating content. And yes, 10, maybe 15 years ago, that wasn't an industry that was taken seriously. But what's fantastic about lists, and I've seen this with the global list, not only in Africa, but in Europe and in the United States as well, content creation is being taken very, very seriously. And one of the most amazing things about Africa is people have started to realize how much potential lies on this continent. And I think what we do with the list is we just highlight and accelerate the African growth story even more.
I love that. I think we have Khloe back all the way from Nigeria. Khloe, I'm hoping that you can hear me. I saw your digital cover on Instagram and it looks absolutely beautiful. And there was a clip where you spoke about how, things like this don't happen to people where you're from. When you saw the cover yourself on Forbes Africa, what did that feel like?
Oh my God, I can't express my feeling. It's a dream come true, because we can only dream and work towards it to make it reality. When I saw myself on the cover, I was so happy. I had to call my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm on the cover. It's beautiful.
I love that for you.
I'm soaking in all the energy. It's a great one for me and for my business as well.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. What does this do for you as a businesswoman? Does it elevate your brand? How does it impact you?
Right now, there's been a lot of calls. There's been a lot of emails. Now the world know my name. They know what I do. It's not more Nigerian. I'm international now. And for my business, this is like a push. I'm not there yet. I'm not even up to 10% of where I want to be in life in my business. And this is like a push. I can do it. I can be who I want to be. I can make my business a household name. I can make my business a bigger one. As the biggest push anyone can ever get. Like I'm milking it.
You are, and one of those calls was from eNCA all the way in South Africa as well. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us tonight on Newsnight and for sharing this story, sharing this initiative. We appreciate your time and your insights as well. That was Chanel Retief from Forbes Africa and Koko by Khloe founder Oluwa-busayo Victoria Abiri, one of the listers this year in the Forbes 30 Under 30 initiative, talking to us about the summit that's also going to be happening here in Botswana, at the end of this month.